Who doesn't want an instant 5 mile an hour clubhead speed boost? So if you're looking to add speed like I always am, or you're just looking to get more efficient and more out of the swing that you already have, then these 3 simple concepts could help you boost your speed instantly. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into the 3 simple concepts, quick background. For the past 2-3 years, I've been binging out on everything in terms of kinematics, biomechanics, everything TPI. If you're watching this just as it comes out, I'm about to click the button. I'm about to do my level 1 in TPI. If you're watching this afterwards, hopefully I've completed my TPI and started a little bit in-person teaching. But with all this knowledge that's gone into this over the past 2 years, it's definitely helped my swing, my speed. I'm 45, coming up to 46. Managed to get 127 miles an hour clubhead speed, but that's for me making the best out of my swing in terms of kinematics, using the ground, making it really efficient, really understanding it. And it definitely helps me to produce what I call easy speed, so my on-course cruising. So this video is just going to be 3 simple concepts, but over the coming months I'm really going to dive into these videos, produce a lot more videos, so really go into details in terms of how I use the ground, use my body, the training I do. Can I help some of you guys increase their speed in a healthy way possible? So increasing 5 mile an hour instantly, let's go. So number 1, it's setup. So in terms of setup, we can be too narrow, we can be too wide. If we imagine we want to throw something down the range, if I've got my feet together, more narrow stance, if I try to throw with any force, it is purely arms and arm speed what is going to get me to throw the object as far as I can through from there. So the opposite, if I'm too wide in my stance setup, I'm really struggling with rotation speed. Obviously this is a rotational game, so one of the big forces is to use that rotation, but that hinders it. So obviously everybody's different, we're all built different in terms of size, how we make, how we can move that body. But by just changing setup to a more athletic position, so for me it's somewhere around the shoulder widths parts. If I drew a line from my armpit that wants to go through the center of my feet, somewhere around there. This is where you can play with this on the range and see what works for you best, but somewhere in this vicinity. So I don't want it too narrow, don't want it too wide. Nice athletic width position. I feel strong here. So then in terms of down the line in athletic position, I want the weight to be in the balls of my feet. I feel a lot with my feet. I'm not very position orientated. I want to feel powerful with this ground. I get that by feeling my pressure in the balls. Nice and tall, slight knee bend. Strong athletic position with the width position where I feel that nobody can push me over, but it feels I can go right, I can go left, I can go torque, and I can go up. Really super athletic from this position. And so from this athletic position, it really allows me to focus on the 3 forces, go into more detail of that in future videos. But in terms of the 3 forces from this position, as I'm reaching the top, the first, it allows me to do the lateral. So the lateral shift is the first force. Then if we're looking at the kinematic sequence, from the lateral goes the torque, which is the rotational aspect. After that, we then have the vertical. So if kinematics is something new to you, I will go into more detail over the next 2-3 months. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow along with that. But very simply, from this athletic position, it allows me to go lateral, torque, vertical, and from here get that energy into that club. Whereas if I was too narrow, I really can't go lateral, so I'm missing out on that force. And if I go too wide, I struggle with the torque, so I'm losing out on the torque aspect of the force. So nice athletic setup makes those 3 forces kinematic sequence a whole lot easier. So number 2 is to loosen up. So in terms of increasing speed, we can definitely get a little bit looser in the body. I am definitely guilty for this one. In terms of when we're gripping the club, a lot of people talk in terms of 10 out of 10. You want around a 3-4. I actually don't mind gripping the club in my hands a little bit firmer. That's from my clubhead speed. I really want to just be gripping onto this club. But what I have to do then from the hands, I want the rest of me, so my forearms, to be looser. So I do have a little bit tighter grip, but then I really try and loosen the forearms, which then leads to my back, my shoulders being a lot looser. If I'm tight, even though we think we can swing a lot harder, grip everything together, it actually just makes my whole body tighter and harder to turn, rotate as much as I would like to. So by staying a little bit looser, so everything then can go, and we're looking to create that little whip effect. So we all know the towel whipping and the crack it makes. I know me and my boy have plenty of little towel fights running around the house, but that's the same as the golf swing as I want to feel. So if I'm super tense in my shoulders, in my back and my arms, everything's going together and everything's going to come down together. Also, that leads to me for my body as I come down, the midriff, the center will stop, and then my arms take over as well. So to create that whip feel is super important if you want to add that bit of extra speed. So if we can loosen all this up as we get into the top of the backswing, it then allows my body, even though I definitely get tight around here like a lot of you who are watching this, if we loosen here, we get to the top, I can get my lower body to go first, the kinematic sequence, lower body, stomach, shoulders, arms to go instead of if I'm gripping tight. For me, if I end up gripping too tight, I get a shorter backswing. I don't rotate my hips enough, and then from there, because I've not rotated my hips to 45, my shoulders to 90 degrees, I then come over the top and the hands want to take over. So imagining that tower whip. So at the top, from here, we go in softer now, and it allows, you can feel this, whereas if I'm gripping tight. Let's loosen that body, guys. It'll allow us to turn a lot more, get a little bit of separation, which we can create that whip, which when we move on to number 3 is the all-important key, and how we do it and when we do it. So number 3 is just giving yourself a little bit of time on the downswing, which is going to help with your kinematic sequence and help you load the club head and get the energy into that club head, which ties into number 2 and being loose. Cool, that wind's getting up. Wow. So one of the key feels for me to help my speed and sequence is definitely give myself a little bit of time from the top. I know I've been guilty of it way in the past, and also I see quite a lot of people on the range. For them, speed is once they get to what they call the top of the backswing, they are then throwing that club head as fast as they can from there. But by the time it's coming through impact, we're actually going to be losing speed and energy into that club head. So in terms of sequences, this is where the 3 forces kick in and that whip feel, so we can get some extra easy club head speed into that club head. So in terms of as we start the downswing, I'm sure you'll have seen Bryson, who talks about as he's starting his downswing and the lateral, there's a moment in time and space where it feels the hands and the club head stays as he's using his lateral, he's moving less pressure into the left foot. So that's one feel. You might see in Justin Rose where he talks about as he starts his downswing, he keeps his back longer to the target, which again just helps with that sequence, and we're not throwing the club head too early. So by allowing this, that little pause, waiting before we start to drop the club down, and before we even have to talk about the forces and understanding those, that will get us the so-called X stretch. So as we're up from the top, the lower body goes and the upper body is behind. So we get that little bit of separation, and obviously we're talking fractions and fractions of a second. But then by doing this, this is where number 2, creating the whip, starts to kick in. So by time we're moving, we've got the energy from here and things are starting to move, and then we've got the whip to happen. So with this feel, we can then move into sequence, and then it is about applying the 3 forces. So I'm not going to go into full detail, but we can go into a quick brief overview. As if you're new to this, as I know I get a few people who've asked me, it's when do we create the whip? when to create the forces, but in terms of the feels, we could never create the forces early enough, as the majorities are too late. So a brief overview of the 3 forces and the kinematic sequence, and it will definitely help you add 5 miles an hour instantly if you get this kinematic sequence correct. So as I said, as we were reaching the top, the actual big hitters, tour players, we'll just talk simply in terms of lateral to start with. They're actually from here, as they're still going to the top, they're actually moving their pressure, not mass, pressure mass different, pressure into the lead side. So the lateral is already done from here. Then they're moving into the rock or the torque. And then from here, they're getting into the vertical. So this happens from here to here. The 3 forces have already happened from them. Then from here, so the kinematic sequence, as we're here, and find the low body. But what first we want to go is the torso, then the upper chest, goes into the arms, then into the hands, and we let the club go. So people get afraid to let the club go, but my speed, I know on the range I do a few little games on that. I can do my feet together and I can still swing at 150 miles an hour, so I know how to load and crack that club. But then the key to this also is what people don't really understand or really know, is that then it's how much we can really decelerate, and that's where the strength, the conditioning really comes in. Because if we want to throw a lot of energy into this club, we need this body to be slowing down to create that whip. So we have to be strong enough. There's a lot of forces, a lot of centrifugal forces going into this club. If we can't hold on to that club, we're going to stand up and we're going to throw the club. So that's where a lot of the TPI screening is going to come in, to make sure we're strong enough to get enough club head speed and control these forces. Again, I'm going to go over that over the next few months. So as we go lateral, torque, vertical, and then as we get into the so-called P6 position, this is where this is all starting to slow down. So the chest slows down, the arms slow down, and then from here, as I come vertical, as I'm cracking that whip, then everything decelerates, as all the energy, and I want the club accelerating from here. So all the energy, what we've put into the system, we can get it out of the system early enough into that club head, use that kinematic sequence, get this deceleration, get all the energy into that club. So a lot of people, what I see, and they don't really understand what they do, and they're trying to hold on to the lag and also the forces, what they don't really know, they're creating these forces or not creating them enough. They're always too late. So if we're creating the lateral, torque and vertical at impact, or a lot of you post impact, then you're not getting that energy into that club. So get the kinematic sequence, it helps create that whip. Those club head speeds are going to jump up. Okay guys, so this is part 1 of numerous follow-up videos what are going to come in terms of increasing speed and strength and doing it as safely as we can. So in terms of this overview, especially if you're newer to golf, I know I'm getting a lot of beginner golfers asking me. So first one, get that set up more athletic, weight in the balls of the feet, not too wide, not too narrow. Let's try and loosen the shoulders, the forearms, release that tension from the body so we can swing a lot looser. Then on the downswing, just give yourself a little bit of time, the feeling from the top of the swing. It will stop you. It will definitely help with your sequencing. Even if you don't fully understand kinematic sequence and how to use the ground, just giving yourself a little bit of time from the top. Potentially one going to help you stop coming over the top. Have you yanked that club head? But it will definitely help you with that whip feeling and adding a few miles an hour onto that club head speed. And obviously if you're looking to increase your club head speed, we really do want to be measuring. Is it's tough to feel speed. I know some of my swings, it might be 120, but it might feel 115. Some days the faster swings feel easy and they don't feel it. So it's hard to feel. So we do need to measure. I have a little PRGR. I've done a video review on there. I should get an affiliate link really on there. But something like this, if you are tracking your speed, obviously if you're at the ranges now, we've got TrackMan ranges. Obviously you don't have the club head speed, but you do have the ball speed. So you'll be able to have a look on there and have a little play. Can you increase that ball speed? But PRGR, I can definitely recommend that if you're looking to add a little speed and you want to track and go down the speed training, strength training route, which I'm really going to focus on. So again, if you want to hit that subscribe and the like button, be a big help to the channel. And hopefully when you watch this, or if you watch this later in the time, I've passed the TPI, start to do a little online and in-person teaching. 46 coming up. I don't want to lose speed. I want to keep increasing speed, but I definitely don't want to lose speed. But understanding the ground kinematic sequence is definitely key for me and generating that easy speed. Right, hope you found that useful, guys. Plenty more to come. Sun's out. I've got an hour spare this afternoon. So I'm going to put these principles into practice, go hit a few balls, see what we shoot, see what speed. Can I get to 130 today? Add extra 5 miles an hour from there? Let's give it a go. Right, see you later, guys.